Hello, sports fans around the world. That's right, it is the NRL SuperCoach BDE Podcast. We are the best draft experts here to bring you all of the round 5 waiver wire action. Bit of banter around round 4, and Toddy stitching me up in both leagues. He's done well. He's done very well. Earned the victories. Well played, sir. Todd Bout, I'll go to you, mate. You're feeling good. Wear that crown, sir.
Yes, mate. Feeling good after dropping over you on the weekend, mate. It always feels good getting you boys. It doesn't happen very often. So when it does happen, you just wear the crown. You know, you just be that guy. You be him, and you walk around with a bit of swagger in your step.
Boy, do you be him as well. You really,
love being
you really embrace it, don't you?
Oh. You've got an early bit of chat. Dom,
Yeah, boy,
one of our
Dom.
regulars. Hello, sir. He's absolutely giving you a bit of love there. And
He gets it.
You know, Dom, no excuses here. Got me fair and square in both leagues, mate. It is what it is. Early season, give him a bit of love, take him down later. That's the plan. Good on you, Dom.
Batter him up.
Simo, how'd you go, old son? How are you traveling?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's good to be here. A bit of a shocker of the week, actually, for yours truly. It's I copped the toddy treatment like you did a couple of weeks ago. So he's I think he's polished both of us off as the top 2 scorers of the week.
I was going to point it out. I did put up a decent battle, and he got me as well with my best score of the season. So here's what it is.
He's absolutely killing it. But yeah, look, KL Hero, I own in almost, I think 4 out of 5 leagues. Like it's
stuff.
Yeah, when he went off injured on the weekend, I was not in a good place. I was pretty pissed. So it was one of those weeks, bit of a tough one. So, onwards and upwards, we move on. There's always opportunities on the waivers, so I guess we'll get into the action.
It's good to see you get your other centre back anyway, Simo and Latrell.
Oh, yes, boy. Oh, hello.
Yes.
A couple of wins and he's just crushing. On you, Johnny Castle.
Mate, good first round pick in the listener league, I've heard.
First round
hey,
CT Dubs.
At least he's playing, and for those who drafted Harry Grant, he probably would rather have had Latrell at this point. Fair to say.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. No, that'll be a talking point tonight for sure.
We'll jump on in, lads. Look, a lot of the theme of this podcast is replacing the injured stars. It's pretty much what we've had to do every week. We add to the attrition rate. But one that's actually gone pretty well. Shout out to Albert Hopewadi, decent young player, down for ACL. So that's his season done. But the Hot Tamale just locks himself in as a season-long bet. So well done to those who got on as a bit of a sleeper. He looks the goods. And not every matchup he's going to be fantastic, I think it's fair to say. But there'll be some home matches where the Raiders are going to go okay. Lads, I'm not going to spend any time on the Raiders because there's nothing to talk about here from a waiver wire perspective unless I'm missing something.
No, not really. They're pretty settled side. Like a lot of the Raiders guys are just kind of stashes. Like if something was to happen to Starling, like if you're in deep leagues, 14 plus, I think Paddy should be owned because I think there's a play there to be had if things break right. But yeah, in terms of actual waiver claims, not really.
No, Danny Levi would start, mate. You don't know Ricky Verrell. Don't know him well enough. Moving along to the Sharks. Now, normally I start off by saying, geez, what a settled lineup it is. But obviously the Hero injury is a big one. And a pretty fast player in his own right. Doesn't quite have the power or skill of a Hero. Wani Hiroti, we've seen him play on the wing a lot. He's a bit of a flyer. Does finish okay when he stepped in. I'm a bit weird about him as a centre, Todd, man. Can we get on board here?
Look, we like the cut of his jib when he's on the wing, but this is just screaming to stay away from me. I just don't think this is going to be his, I don't think centre is his position. I think he's an out-and-out winger, and I actually haven't seen enough of him at centre. Look, he's in a really good Sharks team, so if it's a free agent stash for me, as opposed to spending a waiver on him.
Yeah. So I will go to you, mate, because I think he is one very obvious replacement option. Look, I'm with Todzer at minimum. I think he should be owned just in case it works in a good team. Don't love the matchup away in Canberra either for this week, but Hero 4-ish?
Probably. I've not seen a definitive timeline for Hero, so you'd imagine, 2 weeks would be best case, but it's looking probably more than 3 or 4. So there is a bit of a timeline there for Hiroti. I'm sort of with you boys there. Like, as a centre, I don't think he's got massive upside being a centre. He'll be an okay sort of base stat guy, but not someone that I'm prioritising massively on the wire. He's probably just more that free agency sort of look, I would say, for these couple of weeks.
One bit of commentary for those. G'day to our live listeners who've tuned in. Feel free to fire away with comments that aren't related to Toddy's greatness. Thanks, Dom. Will Kennedy back to earth with a thud. He was absolutely awful on the weekend. That is just awful. There's got no other
who
words.
didn't see that coming?
It just with a thud. So hopefully, listeners, you got the sell high away when he was doing decent. I mean, it's a real. I heard that both Dykes and I always forget his name, Ison, both down with long-term injuries. It just means he's there to stay. He's holding this team back, both in SuperCoach and real life, and it was pretty obvious on the weekend. Any advances on that, boys?
No, not really. I see what you're saying. I'm not going to sit here and defend Will Kennedy a lot, but I think he does get a little bit harshly criticised because he did save a few tries in the weeks before, especially in terms of just purely real life. Although there was a good one when they played the Cows. I think he laid on a good try saver with a desperate tackle. And sometimes his defence at the back it goes both ways because he'll get caught out positionally from time to time, especially sort of. I know against the Panthers round one, like Cleary just had a field day with him. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and defend him too hard, but I think he has been okay for the Sharks in some games, but just not consistent enough.
It's his lack of tackle busting as well, Simo, that just bothers me. The amount of runs he gets, he just very rarely breaks a tackle. And you look at all the fullbacks, even someone you'd think's a little more meat potatoes like a Connor Tracy, still beats the first man a lot of the time. He just gets tackled and goes down so easily, it seems. But yeah, just some feedback from the weekend. NRL opinion, you are right, Simo. He hasn't been terrible this year. I'll give you that. Just his worst game. Panthers v Cowboys. Now, we've lost To'o, boys. That's another brutal blow. Hasn't absolutely been lighting it up, but we've seen glimpses. We had the big 100 score points. Could have been going well. He's now out. Casey McLean, in my opinion, he's a pretty obvious replacement for Kyle Iro this week, given the timeline for To'o of about 4 weeks. Kind of lines up. I think he's a really easy one for me. Todzo?
Yeah, I don't mind the play, mate. Like, he's a decent enough winger and a decent enough team. Get the Cowboys this week. With Cleary back, like every chance of being full CTW value there.
Yeah. Timo, pretty straightforward, low-endish claim. If you really need, you can go a bit higher.
Yeah, Panthers left winger in a match they should win pretty easily. So,
yep.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
Jack Cole back to not being a 100-point player now that Cleary's back. He actually did have a good SuperCoach week. He'll have the attention of those who are relying on, 5'8" has been absolutely brutal outside of Lockie, Galvin, and JC. Munster obviously has been pretty good too, but like the top options, and then there's just complete duds.
Yeah, obviously Burton.
Should he be owned?
Burton's injured,
he probably should.
Hurts. Yeah. Oh, there'll be teams out there that need a 5'8". 100% there will be.
Yeah.
There's even teams out there that have been running Wishart and they'd be nervous with Hughes on the bench, on the extended bench. So
Wishart, Harris Tavita, Simo. He's like, I know I'm relying on him at the moment, just, waiting for people to come back. If Harris Tavita's on a bye this week, Jack Cole actually looks like a decent enough option. So should be owned. Probably, despite me still thinking Blaze Talungi is a better option, it's probably going to be this.
Yeah, the Blaze Talungi chat's interesting, isn't it? Like, the fact that he hasn't got a game now, just something's off. Like, it's very weird that, Anyway, obviously, Ivan's got his reasons, but if you've been a Blaze Talungi stasher for this long, I mean, you've got to be starting to ask, his chance hasn't come yet. When will it come? Like, it's weird.
Given the injuries to the halves and, Jack Cole not playing that great in those losses as well, especially the loss to the Roosters, it is strange. So maybe I still think your stash but it's looking like they need to lose. Now, this is Dom. This is good, mate. You're on fire tonight. This is good timing and one I was just about to go to. Sorensen went down as a Papali'i owner. Is this chance to secure the spot? Very good question, Dom. And we're mind meld here. Todza, what are your thoughts, mate?
I just see Luke Garner in that 17 jersey, and I feel like the split's going to be very much the same. Unfortunately, we would love to see IPAP just take over give me a 65, 70-minute role, but Luke Garner has shown that he's been Mr. Reliable. They've gone back to him numerous times. He spelled Sorensen last year. I just feel like that's going to be the same sort of rotation. You might see an uptick in Papali'i, and I mean, a lot of people have been starting Papali'i, but I just think it's much of the same. He might get a few more minutes, but it looks pretty grim if you ask me.
I think it is too, Todd, and I think the indication was Papali'i coming through the middle previously. That's really the outline here. I don't think he's been viewed as that. Maybe at this stage of his career, he just doesn't have that explosive edge back rower sort of role. If I had him, I think it gives you a pretty easy start, mind you, as at least a third 2RF. But to say that I'd go target him in trades or anything or what have you, no, Sorensen will be back. It's going to go back to the same. Thanks, Dom. And sorry that wasn't probably the answer you're after, mate. Brutal. All right, over to the Cowboys. Had a good win. Did play some pretty good football. Tommy Dearden did some things, which is good to see. Some show and goes. Got the job done.
I would not want to be a Tommy Dearden owner right now. You just scored 97. You might have been, after the first 2 weeks of sub 30, you might have been going somewhere else, and then he comes back and does that.
You're going to play him. In reality,
it's definitely sub 40.
It's going to be tough. Mate, don't sleep on his halves partner either with it, nearly raising the bat with a 97. Like I said to Simo live, genuinely played good football too. It wasn't crazy. Where the hell did that come from? If someone out there is a believer in Jake Clifford, get your sell on. They're not going to be. No one cares about Jake Clifford.
I was going to say good luck finding that
he's just, if you've got him as a, hopefully you got on last week as a bit of a lucky fantasy score for the Moses, the Hughes owner, two that come to mind. If he's still out there and you're the Jerome Luai owner, he could be, fair enough. Put him in there, but it's a tough old matchup. tough times ahead.
You only started him because Jack Cole was on a bye. Let's be real. Jack Cole was on a bye.
I love a bit of Jack Cogger. I can't wait to watch the Knights trot him out this week. Good times. Thanks, Simon, for reminding me of that. That's excellent.
Oh, you also lost to me on the weekend as well. I'll remind you that too.
No, that doesn't bother me. That was fair and square. Jack Cogger coming on robs me of my innocence and enjoyment of the game.
So you guys are releasing Will Price too, which is very interesting.
Back to Hull. I think his defense just didn't hold up, Todd's, which is a real shame. Evidently not worth.
In the 5 games he played, that's fucking rough.
Yeah. I guess with Brown coming in next year and the emergence of Fletcher Sharp, there was no room for him to be a 5'8" in this team and probably soaking up some salary cap. So sounds like a win. We managed to move him on. Fair enough.
Sure both parties would be pretty happy to.
I think so, mate.
Yeah, like he's not. So
watch him go back and brain it over there. So is what it is.
Some Bevan franchise has turned into Man Steel.
Got a bit about that, Todd. He's still a young talent, and he don't have to be as good defensively. So I think he's just going to be an elite Super League player. We'll see. All right, boys. So good to see Robert Derby. Is it pronounced Derby or Derby in this context? I can't actually remember. Oh well, the guy who plays on the wing, who's young.
Yeah, I think it was
Cowboys. Derby. Scored a try, tough matchup. Let's not get too excited. Jackson Purdue is one, boys. I think he probably is owned in the majority of leagues, but he is classy and he's really fast. Boy, is he fast.
He's
just want to mention him as I think he could be okay in the right matchups, like 4 CTW,
4-5 guy. Yeah.
4-5 guy. Murray Talangi sighting is getting a bit more. He'll do that in wins, I think, is fair to say. He's another 4-5 guy for mine. Nothing more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I don't know. Murray Talangi is a weird super coach and even real life player for mine. He's, for someone that's been around the Origin scene as much as he has, he's still really inconsistent, but then he'll just show amazing flashes every now and then, but then he'll just do boneheaded shit as well. So, I wouldn't have him anywhere near the Queensland Origin team this year, but I've said that many years before. But yeah, for SuperCoach, he's going on the left edge there. So in good matchups, he'll be fine. But this week's not one of them.
Well, it'll be Xavier Coates left, Cobbo right. I think it's
Should
pretty
be
straightforward this year. I would think so.
I just don't know about. I don't want to get too much into Origin, but I just don't know about Billy Slater and Cobbo's relationship. Bit weird, I think.
It'd be pretty funny to let something personal get in the way of selecting the best player, but we've seen it before.
David Fierce says a lot.
Oh, don't even. Well, mate, the man who can't get a bloody run over Cleese Haas. Are you kidding me? Anyway.
Couldn't get a run over Felice Kafusi either.
Do not get me. Oh, do you remember how bad Felice was in that game? Oh, my God. He looked like he was stuck in molasses. And I remember messaging Simo and going, oh, no. He was so slow.
Yeah,
imagine looking across at Angus Crichton, you got Felice Kafusi.
Felice Kafusi. That beautiful. I miss his hair, by the way. Just pointed out there. Tell me that's not a feature of the screen this year.
It was the best part of it in the last 4 years has been his hairstyle.
Now, I don't want to be the guy that's pointing out players that annoy me all the time, but I guess it's the week for it. Johnny Bateman, boys. Can I ask how he's still being selected to start in this side? Because he was diabolical on the weekend. He gave away, I think there was like 3 penalties in the space of about 5 minutes. Todd Payton, like, what? Put Nanai where he belongs, take Bateman out, and move on, surely.
2 things here. So you're 100% right. That was... First thing is that's probably the worst 68 SuperCoach score in terms of real life versus fantasy I've seen in a long, long time. Number 2, if you rewind a week before and watch his effort on Adam Reynolds, when Reynolds basically just dummies and just runs through a ghost that's John Bateman trying to get back on side the week before, like the bloke should not be playing 80 minutes. He's not fit enough, which is weird to say because his body shape. Physically, he looks fine, but he's not lasting the minutes. Something's not right there with Johnny Bateman. And
no, I remember something hasn't been right for Johnny for quite some time.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. There was an awesome tweet, and I really wish I knew who said it now, but it was something like the odds of John Bateman finishing his contract at the Cowboys. It's like the chances of him leaving is like $1.
And you'd still lump a gorilla out there, like honestly. That's wow.
He doesn't finish that contract.
All right, I had to because it was just standing out to me. But if I got him in SuperCoach, like it's working, so just play him until it doesn't, I suppose. That's really it, boys. There's not much else there for the Cowboys to get excited about. All right. Todd's with some brilliant comedy at the start of the podcast about the next one. The big news of the week. Possibly answers a question we've been wanting answered for about, 5 years. Will Big Trell Mitt himself, play in the centres ever again after the Roosters start to his career? So it has actually happened. Simo, I've got to go to you, mate, as the man who inadvertently drafted him in round 1. Now looks like an absolute genius.
Smart man over here. 2 leagues, Latrell. Get around it.
Rest of season value for Big Trell. I'll go to you for Jai Gray, Todza, because that's an interesting part of this as well. Simo, Big Trell.
Yeah, I don't think he stays at centre long term. Let's just get that out there. Wayne Bennett's already come out and said he's the best fullback at the club and views him as that. The way I'd view this is similar to Tommy Turbo coming back at centre last year. I do think it'll last longer than Turbo did. I see this probably going 3 weeks because you've got Johnston to come back, Munro to come back. Campbell Graham, I think, is 4 weeks away. Once all those guys are fit, I honestly just think that they're going to just start to fill out their backline a bit more, just with more quality players. And it's just the perfect storm to play in there right now because they need quality outside backs. And for the best team right now, it makes sense to have Latrell at centre and Gray at 1. But once you still sort of start to get Campbell Graham back especially, obviously Graham and White are going to take up those 2 spots. And at that point, it really just comes down to Campbell Graham versus Jai Gray. Obviously, there's a chance they could play Campbell Graham on a wing, but I feel like if I had to bet, are they going to drop Jai Gray or play Campbell Graham on a wing? They're going to drop Jai Gray back to the bench. So, yeah, that's sort of my view on it. I don't really want to affect Toddy too much on what his thoughts are, but yeah, take it away, mate. Like, you could disagree if you honestly think Jai Gray is going to keep the spot.
Nah, I actually agree completely with you, mate. What have you said there? Jai Gray to the 14 once everyone's back fit and fighting. I do like Latrell going to the centre just for a couple of weeks, get some game time under his legs where he doesn't have to put in that stupid amount of tracking back and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, love the move for the next couple of weeks for the Bunnies, but yeah, I'm with you. I think that he goes back to fullback, and he is their best fullback. I know Jai Gray eats the meters, but man, the things that Trell does on attack is crazy compared to Jai Gray. So yeah, he'll go back to the bench, and you'll see Trelly for the end of the season, hopefully, mate, for you.
Well, not the grand final, but we'll get that when we get there.
Yeah, you got to get there, baby. You got to get there.
We won't be getting there. It's all good.
Love that. I'm going to present a slight alternative view here, and it would just be around the success of the team. Because although they've been winning, they haven't necessarily looked fantastic. If Latrell comes in and plays really well there, and Jai Gray is still doing, everyone loves him because he's an effort guy. They love these effort guys like Dylan Edwards, right? Bennett does his own thing. He makes it happen. But I wouldn't say like your Isaiah Tass, Mikhaili Ravalawa, fractured shoulder for Alex Johnson. So that could be a while, right? That's not a quick injury.
I think it ended up only being a rib. So
fantastic.
He might have got away with 3 weeks, I think.
Okay, that does change it a little bit for me because if Johnson's fit, he's playing on. We know he's going to play on the left wing, and I think you're right then, Simo. So Campbell Graham in. If Johnson was out longer term, I would say there's slightly more of a chance that it stays the way it is now, with obviously Campbell Graham to come back in on the wing. So yeah, fair play. Good analysis, boys. So Anthony Mason, hello, sir. Welcome to the potty. Surely Latrell won't score as well at centre. There you go. Thank you, Simo. At centre as fullback. This is our thing. I love to see it. That's brilliant. This creates a whole dual eligibility palaver. Love the use of the word palaver ahead of week 6. Wayne probably not worrying about SuperCoach trivialities. Good from you, and also consulted the thesaurus to get that one out. Well done, sir. All right. What do you think? Like dual eligibility would be sneaky good. Cal says, hang on, I'm going to go to that.
Oh,
yes.
Cal. Oh,
g'day, Anthony.
All right, that's good.
G'day, Cal. This
Keep
is
that
good.
Up.
Love your work.
I love that.
So, back to this point. Dual eligibility, like if you are a Latrell owner, you are absolutely all about the idea that he could get dual eligibility if you have another fullback on your roster, like a Jerome Buller or something you've had stashed. That would be tremendous. All right.
Yeah. Cal's right about, I think it's the 3. To get dual, I don't think it's going to happen by week 6. It's going to have to be, 3 games there, I think, is the sort of precedent they went with. So, could be, if you can get past week 6, and obviously there's no dual for Latrell, great buy low because he should get it by then, round 12, but people will be off it by then, so you might be able to sneak it, get a bit of value there.
So, Cal has come in hot here as well. So, as a Trell owner, is Gray a big target to handcuff? I tend to agree with Simon that I doubt his centre thing is season long. Simo, in our league, you don't have him as a handcuff. Is that something, would you be making sure that you have him just in case you're wrong? Or do you think you're that confident in your convictions? If you don't own Gray, just see it out with whatever options you've got. Because obviously the Gray owner might look at this and think, like, I tend to agree with you. Gray would be gettable for you in the short term, even though he would still help me in my flex position. Your thoughts?
So if the scenario is that I own Latrell as my only fullback and I've got nothing else, look, it doesn't really change my opinion on getting Gray any more or less than I did a week ago. Like, Latrell, if you wanted Gray as a handcuff, you probably would have had him before now. Obviously, you've been playing someone else in that time. Like, obviously, Latrell's come back for you, this cherry on top. But yeah, look, Latrell probably won't score as well as a centre as he would at fullback. He'll still be okay because he should still kick goals. And he'll still do things at centre, obviously. But yeah, look, in terms of the handcuff, this doesn't really make me be like, oh my God, I've got to go and get Gray on a sort of cheaper deal now. Like now, he's more gettable. I think the play is more just let it play out. In 3 weeks' time, if Latrell goes back to fullback, you'll be able to pick up Gray off the waivers then. I think just be patient. I wouldn't be paying overs to get Gray now for only a couple of weeks. Obviously, that's with me thinking that he's only going to be there for that long. If you think otherwise, that Gray could be there for a while, well, I can see why you might go out and look to get him a bit more. But I'm just going off sort of my opinion, and that sort of frames my hesitation to trade for Jai Gray.
You can't play them both. That's the other thing. Based on the fact that Trell, in a scenario where he already had CTW, I think you'd probably suggest a bit different. You could play them both. This is a pretty good matchup as well against a very poor Roosters defense. So, I'm a green light. Like I'll green light Michaeli Revelara in this matchup. I think his work rate is still very good, and he'll probably score a try. I don't mind it at all. All right. The other player I want to mention from the Bunnies, actually, there's a couple here. What to do with Cody Walker, Todd? It has been absolutely appalling, but he has done this in recent memory only to sort of strike fire and finish at least like as a decent option, top 10 option. What can we do here, mate? Is he a buy low?
Oh, fuck. Is this the year that Cody Walker has finally lost a step? Like, to my eyes, I thought he played incredible. Like, I really thought he was actually really good. But then to come out and only have 27, it was really interesting. So, as in terms of buy low, the 5'8" landscape is not overly great. So, he's got a decent enough option to buy low, looking towards the end of, later part of the season. But it's a risky one to do because we've seen this from Cody Walker, and when it's bad, it's really bad.
You've seen my opinion in the chat. I think he is one of the most obvious buy lows I've seen in a very long time, given you could literally get him for pennies on the dollar. He has been terrible. With Latrell back in the side and just that extra go forward, the matchup's ripe as well. He'll want to play well against a pretty poor defense. I think he might even play pretty well this week. I think he is a really gettable buy low, especially at 5'8", which is a position that is it's absolutely awful. If you're a Burton owner, could be a great little stopgap to get him over the line. I mentioned Luai going down as well. I'm all about it. And I'm not, you guys, for those who've listened a long time, it probably surprised me saying that. I just think situationally, it has to go better for him from here. So, Simo, as the deciding vote here, mate, Tozza wasn't that keen. Are you on board?
Mate, anyone that's owned Cody Walker the last 2 years will know, mate, he's off that cliff. Leave him on waivers. He's done. He's done.
I love it.
You'll pick him up and then you give him 4 weeks. I reckon you'll know. You'll be getting rid of him. He's been shocking. But real life, fine. But he's been needing a try assist, sometimes multiple. A try assist to get to 30 or 2 to get to 50. It's been the base has fallen out, and I don't know if Latrell Mitchell coming back and boost him that much. He's still going to be one pass away from the action a lot of the time. With Latrell there, he's just a try contribution specialist because he dishes it off, puts Latrell in great spots, and then he just ices the 2-on-1. So, not interested in Cody Walker at all.
Don't listen to him. Buy low, listeners. Buy low. Get him. Look, I will actually add to that. You shouldn't need to spend much, is what I'm getting at there. I hope it's real cheap, or it could even be off waivers. If he's on waivers and you need a 5'8", I think you can spend. I have no problem with that. I'm not saying spend your number one overall, but him versus Jack Cole, I'll take Cody Walker. I'm fine with that.
Right.
Both on Jack?
I'm on Jack there. Look at the scores this year.
I'm on Jack. Yeah, I'm on Jack.
All right. I feel so weird being on the Cody Walker side of this, having been non-Cody Walker pretty much ever. But just relative to price, let's see, listeners. Let's see. Love to hear the comments in the chat as well if anyone's got an opinion on Cody. All right. And not about him as a person or whether you like actually watching him play. They're two very different things.
Best thing he did was go at Tuipulotu the other week.
Yes, boy. Yeah,
my boy Tuipulotu.
The Porn Hubner is back.
He's back.
Comes in, high work rate. Minutes are just risky with Tallis Duncan. But look, if he was dropped, I think he's pretty damn close to third 2RF reliability here.
Yep.
In the matchup's pretty good too. So yes.
Good. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
he's a bona fide 3. He's not more than that. There's bugger all upside from what it looks of him, but he'll get you 50 to 55 pretty. Maybe 45 to 55.
He's a faster moving Morgan Smithies. Make of that what you will. All right. Over to the Roosters. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always weird about this side. Naff White's been an absolute success story. Connor Watson comes back. Sorry to those who had a crack at Spencer Leniu. We had a crack. It didn't work. He played pretty poorly. He was just disinterested, gave away silly penalties, and back to type. So sorry, listeners, if you got on as a dart throw. Oh, here we go. There's another question. The Trell's not dead. Meso has said, with the Trell in, and certainly with soft opposition like Roosters, Cody is a top 12 halfback and top 12. There we go. We've got some support from Meso. Good on you, mate. Hello, Meso. All right, beautiful. Someone listens.
Jesus.
All right.
Top
Nothing
12
else.
5'8's just got to be playing first grade at this point.
I was going to say, mate, it's getting thin. Do you know who isn't a good option? Has
Jack
anyone
Cobber.
actually, mate, Luke Brooks, after the red hot start last year, is anyone watching Luke Brooks? What is he doing? What happened?
Just saving himself to be Manly's halfback next year, mate.
Can you imagine? Back to that in-game kicking he used to do. What happened, though? Why does he not run the ball or really do anything anymore? What happened? He used to be at least serviceable in SuperCoach and average 55 every year for the last 10 years.
It's probably not a bad thing for Manly, though. Less time he's got the ball, the better.
Yeah. Siwa Wong Watch. How is that trajectory, Simo? We've talked about we thought was a red hot chance of being a good pickup a few weeks ago. Just a quick check-in, mate. How's it looking?
Yeah, he's been basing really good tackles, Siwa Wong. Actually, I'm getting a little bit dirty missing out on him this year because I was all over him last year. So he's proven to be a really good sort of post-type sleeper for those believers out there. Yeah, doesn't have massive run stats, but yeah, just the base tackles is what you want. He's doing just enough in attack just to, handful of runs with a sneaky tackle bust or an offload here or there. So, yeah, I'm liking him as sort of like that borderline, like low end number 2, high end number 3, 2RF at the moment. Just love to see a little bit more upside out of him, but it's looking like his position is starting to get a little bit more solidified there. So, looking all right.
Yep. Yeah, with the concern, obviously Victor, collective hold of our breaths when he went down again, and now it's a cheekbone injury. I'm not sure of the severity, but there's got to be some questions. We won't dive into that and just wish Victor the best. I love the way he plays. He's full energy and gives it a rip, but boy, it's getting pretty scary. Bit reminiscent of, Boyd Cordner and his career that was cut short.
That's one thing with the Roosters, though, is that they when they do need to pull the plug, they do. They're Jake Friend too there.
That's right, mate.
Their medical staff are pretty onto it. So, yeah, hopefully Victor Radley gets back. But boy, howdy, he puts his head in some weird spots.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't believe he came back on the pitch. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
that was very strange. I was like, what? That cannot be happening. But anyway, we're not the medical experts here and wish him all the best. But an opportunity then for Nat Butcher. Now, I'm not going to go deep on this because unless you boys just agree or disagree is all you got to say, right? Nat Butcher, you both said you prefer him playing on an edge, doesn't quite do enough minutes or output at 13. Todza, agree?
Agree.
Simo?
Yeah, rather him on the edge.
Yeah. All right. Eels versus the Dragons. Hopefully a chance for Yongi to actually get some space because boy does he look dangerous, the poor fella playing behind a terrible team. I feel sorry for him a little bit. Not his fault. He looks dangerous and elusive. Speaking of
Iongi's looks, is there a lookalike with Saquon Barkley out there that no one's talking about?
Ooh.
Okay.
Just put the two together. I'm telling you.
They're the same picture?
I don't think so. Nah.
It feels like this is not one of Simo's bests.
It will be. You'll see it.
I don't think
All right. All right.
There's a bit there.
Is there
Saquon is a fucking oh my god!
it's hard to compare because Saquon is just this monstrous athlete. And
Just not even
he's a
close, in my opinion. So I think that's a real Barry Crocker.
It's not. I'm telling you.
It is, how many skewies did you have watching that game?
We will try and bring in some tech to do the comparison on the screen for future. Todd's up. Can we set this as a task? Actually, you know what, Simo? Money where your mouth is, mate. I will buy you a spoon. If you can find me a picture that compares and put it on this podcast next week, I'll sort you out, mate.
I'll get to handpick the picture, obviously.
Yeah,
you do.
It's not going to help.
If you Photoshop, you owe me a card. All right, you've got to. It's got to be legit. And if I see like 5 fingers or sorry, is it 5? Jesus.
If he's got a normal amount of fingers, I tell you what, Simon.
5 fingers total. 5 fingers total. No, I didn't save that at all. That's some of my worst. All right. Back to the game. The Eels versus the Dragons. Look, can we greenlight an Eel that's not Zach Lomax in the back line? That's the first question.
That's a negative Ghost Rider. That's not for me.
Yeah, it's a tough sell, isn't it? Yongi can get a run this week. I think at least there's a show, but Dragons defended pretty damn well last week, so who knows? Dean Hawkins, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say his name. Joe Ofer sighting, scored plenty, had more minutes, can't trust. Riley Smith to try, he's come in there. I think that's better for them. Is he 80 minutes in this, or is Dylan Walker going to spell him at hooker?
The grossest Dylan Walker at hooker you've ever seen.
Probably though. Like, am I missing something?
It feels like that's what's going to happen. But Riley Smith looks like he has a motor to go full ADO. He's got a bit of dog about him.
Is he a sneaky, just a free agent pickup, just real quick, just in case he tackles his way?
If you're rocking like Reed Marnie, like I have for a couple of weeks, like there's every chance that Riley Smith is going to be way better.
Yep. And I tell you what, Todd, in our matchup, how that man was not sent to the bin is one of the worst bits of officiating I've ever seen. That one on the ground at the try line. Sorry, what? Anyway, we'll get to that. That's another
play on, I was saying. Play
on you. You must have looked at that and gone, oh, shit, this is getting real close now. Yeah. That was ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, the rest of this team, look, Kitione, look, he's playing 80 minutes. I want to frame an argument. Maybe this matchup is okay. Is he opposite Sewer in this one, Tots?
He'll be on the left, so it will be opposite the right edge for, Sewer. No, Sewer's on the left, isn't he?
This is your Dragons, mate, we're talking about.
Sewer plays
on the right.
Yeah, Sewer's on the right.
Kitione, yeah.
So Lane's on the left, right? Doesn't Lane play on the left? Or has he moved? Yeah, so it's the other way around. So I'm against Lucy. Maybe there's something here. You see 80-minute back rowers and you want to believe there could be something. They just need to perform better. Am I going a bit too deep here? We can't trust the Eels?
I just think that the Eels are this type of team that's going to have 2 very average back rowers play for them. And that's going to be Sean Lane and Kitione, unfortunately. Katonga.
All right. No argument. Okay, fair play. Welcome to listeners who've just tuned in, flocking in. Good to see those numbers. We're up and about well into the double dig, so we're growing the potty. Feel free to comment away for anyone that's joined about any questions or comments you may have. Just how sexy is Latour Bjorn? That's what we want to know.
0 sexies.
0 sexies. That's not what the listeners have said. All right, the Dragons then. We can greenlight Tyrell Sloan this week, boys. Just a quick one.
No.
I say yes. I think he'll score tries in this game. So I'm not like excited about it, but he's good enough as a 4 CTW with upside. Not for the faint of heart. Toby Couchman comes in there with the 3-week suspension of Emre Gula, I believe it was. Any interest in your Egan Hamish Stewarts? Just given they've done some pretty good things off the bench and the minutes are not horrendous. Anything even
Egan
stashable?
Looked like he had a bit of something about him, eh?
Yep.
I don't mind what he was going.
He got you written all over him, mate.
He came on, showed a bit.
Yeah.
I don't mind the big dog.
Remember the Charlie Geimer?
It's a Charlie Geimer.
Yeah, mate. I'm all about him. Good looking rooster. Comes on, plays hard. Feel like he's
So-
going to be pretty decent off the bench, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. So anything is stashable, startable?
I wouldn't be starting him, but like a cheeky stash, just in case he comes on and gets 50 minutes in a hardworking 50 minutes would be pretty nice.
I think it's going to be a good week to own Gutho and Val Holmes, boys. It's shaping. They'll be on everything. All right. Probably start Jacob Little just to come on and score. It's just what he does.
28 minutes.
A very, I believe it or not, I've copped that in that other code. I copped the little start and try score. That's just what you want in fantasy sports. All right, over to a massive game at Seabus Super Stadium here with the Titans taking on the very desperate Finns. Just it hasn't been great, let's be honest. If you've owned any one of their players, bar Maxi Plath, Herbie has done enough. Asako, is he a buy low? That's one I wanted to bring up on this potty. It's not happening, is it, Simo?
Yeah, he's probably one of those ones that, technically speaking, obviously he's a buy low because he is performing so low. But typically when you're buying low on someone, you want to have some sort of hope that they're going to return back to like their former glory. And I just don't think Jermaine Asako is going to live up to the same billing that we were hoping for pre-season. Will he improve than what he's shown? Yes. So I'm happy to still label him that. But yeah, it's not something that I'd be moving heaven and earth to go and try and do. Good guy to try and throw in like a 2-for-2 trade, or if you can sort of swindle it that way rather than a 1-for-1.
Yeah, just thinking of those that are struggling with the injuries to CT Dub. Maybe someone is a bit of a stopgap guy that could do something. So I think he's an okay buy low, but I'm with you, Simo. It's hard to get too hype about anything Dolphins right now, to be fair. Speaking of, Connolly Lemuelu's back from his injury, starting on an edge. And Finifuiaki, who has been disappointing, minutes haven't quite been as high as we wanted, and work rate concerns for sure. He's another guy I think he's victim of, if he was in a team that was performing better and scoring points, he'd have a chance of finishing things, They just don't have it. So is there any argument, given this bench, Todza, even if it is a 1 week special?
I just realized you came to me then. I'm Todza. Yeah, look. If I was going to start a Finifuiaki or Lemuelu, I would probably go down to Finifuiaki. He's probably available on free agency or waivers. He's the one just because we've seen him have the spot before. And for a 1 week play up against, like Cleese Haas, who hasn't been overly great, I don't mind it, but it's not something I'd be frothing to do.
Yep, fair play. Won't go any further with that then. Jalen de Groot, Simo. For those who got on, there's news. Obviously, he's going to get some dual eligibility coming up soon. Poor Kinney is all but done for the year. It's close. They're not quite. I don't think it's fully locked in, is it? But there's a chance he's done.
Yeah, pretty strong chance, I'd say.
Yeah, you don't want to stuff for the neck, especially at this stage of his career as well. Hopefully touch with a long and prosperous career. Jalen de Groot was barely involved, and it was an absolutely cruel moment when the commentator cheered AJ Brimson piling over, saying that it was de Groot, and then having to retract. I was like, oh, that's brutal. He didn't do much, mate. We know he's got a lot of speed, and maybe he's just warming to the task. If he's sitting out there and he wasn't picked up, that's possible with the timing. Would you waiver?
Yeah. Oh, look, I wouldn't waiver. If you're in leagues where he's still out there, obviously people aren't super all over that news. So you've had 1 game sample size of him. He hasn't scored super well. I wouldn't waiver just on the principle that I think I could get him as a free agent. I'm just not sure about his job security long term. There's still a lot of water to go under the bridge at the Titans. Obviously, you've got the Brimson and Campbell factor, but then you've also got Carter Gordon as well whenever he comes back. Like, where does he
Back
play?
Injury, right?
Yeah, like, does he play, what position does he get, really? Does he play outside backs? Does he play halves? Does he have a crack at one? I'm not super big on de Groot rest of season. Even though the job's the job's his right now, so everything should usually scream waiver, but I'm just a bit something about it. I'm just not all in on. I can't really put my finger on it.
Well, I'm just bloody doling out waiver claims left, right, and center. I think he should be got via a low end waiver to secure him, and if you can secure him pretty low, I also think he's an okay pickup. If you're in the Trell, Jai Gray, Dane Laurie didn't quite work. Look, there's all these sorts of things going on at fullback. I know he's CTW for now. I just think because he's got that dual eligibility coming and there's a chance that what we saw was just a bit of a nervous start to the career, I just think he's worth something. And I think that just hearing about his speed and his, the potential, I like it. But it's definitely not a high-end claim or even a mid-claim. Should he be owned, Simo? We're both in agreement with that, mate. You should absolutely stash him if he's out there. As for the other pickup from this side, Sam Verrills cannot stop try assisting. He also, unfortunately, just cannot stop getting injured, which really sucks for him. The tackle bot that is Chris Randall, for those who remember back in the Knights days, logging something like, was it 70 tackles in a game, Simo? Do you remember that week? And we're like, who is this guy?
Yeah. Oh, it's just a tackle machine back then. Well, what's changed?
He's easily startable. Easily startable if you've I don't know, how long is Verrills out for? Do either of you have that info?
I do not.
I'm not sure, but I thought it was just a head knock, but I could be wrong.
If it's just a head knock, then as a 1 week play, if you want to secure a pretty good score in your hooker position, you'll probably get it this week because he'll play what? Will Mulaney spell him, Simo? Is that the likely?
Yeah, but it's still good minutes though, regardless. Like it's still going to be like a 60 or 65. Pretty good for him.
A note here from Anthony Mason. Sammy is actually playing wing and attack at times. Jojo playing centre in defense. Absolutely, which is really good. The Philip Sammy, I presume he's owned Meso in most leagues. Philip Sammy's not a horrible start in this Titans side to throw the ball around. Good shout, mate. Another question here from Captain Rivalry. G'day, mates. The To'o owner, Ramian or Jenkins to replace him? Both available to waiver. So Ramian potentially dropped with a couple of quieter weeks. It's a decent look. I know we're all big Ramian fans on this potty and we think better days are ahead. I think that's fair. But Jenkins, boys, given the matchup as well this week, is there any argument for Jenkins here, Todd Mount?
Oh, if I was to choose out of both of those, I couldn't make an argument for Jenkins. I think it's Ramian just based on job security, and we're going to see him hit some big scores. But I like the cut of the jib of Jenkins. He's done really well. Played at fullback, then centre last week. I thought he looked pretty good, and he plays in a team that's going to be heaps better than they were last week. So with Cleary back, so I don't mind the play on either of them. If I was to choose one, I'd go Ramian. That's just me.
Yeah, same order. Just agree or disagree, Simo?
Yeah. I'd say Jenkins this week. If it's a 1 week play, Ramian if it's anything more than that.
Yep. With To'o being gone for 4, I think it's fair to say Jesse Ramian. There'll be some better days. They've got another sort of tough matchup against the Raiders in Canberra, so it might not be spectacular this week. But he also could brain them for line break try plus his base. So Ramian's a really good pickup. We've got him at least minimum as a second. He's a second or a third CTW?
Well, the thing with Ramian too, like against Canberra, like that's against that Seb Chris. So I might even just say Ramian full stop. Maybe it's not even this. I'm happy with Ramian just in a nutshell there.
Yep. All right. Nice. Great options there, Captain Rivalry, mate, and thanks for tuning in again. That's it for that matchup. Running down to the 7:35 matchup, Broncos versus Tigers. Bit of spice and juice to this one, and I'm going to go straight to Latu Fainu, who came in playing 13, and boy, can he move. Todd's I think I'd be keen to play him, mate. If I was struggling in the halves, his eligibility, to be honest, is it just halfback?
5'8".
Latu, 5'8".
5'8", sorry, Simo.
Yep.
If you needed a 5'8" this week, how does he stack up? Jack Cole, Cody Walker, Latu Fainu.
I think I would have him at the last of those, just based upon playing the Broncos this week. I said the night in Brisbane. I don't think there's going to be as much room to move around as there was for the Warriors. And he came on the tired forwards and looked really good, but he's starting this game, and Galvin's going to dominate the ball. So I would probably have him as the last option out of those three.
Just any change, Simo?
No, I like Toddy's list.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't go in.
All right. Adam Dewey absolutely just crushed owners on the weekend. It's near the back end of the round. It's a tough sell. It's a tough sell, that one. Be a bit nervous. Yeah, a bit nervous with Dewey. Maybe have another plan.
Didn't crush those TMM owners though, boys.
Yeah. Right. Play those AEs, baby. Stafford Toa. I love when Simon's bitter, Todd. Isn't it great? It's the best. It's the absolute best.
It's really not the
best. All right. So Stafford Toa. Todd's a one you recommended a couple of weeks ago. He is a likely type. I like him for SuperCoach. He's active. He gets about. So not a bad start. The 4 CT dub. Probably rest of season. I think that's pretty close. Maybe
I think he's got that spot locked down. He's with that guy, that Tuolungi, that type of 4-5 guy.
Now, listeners of the potty from last year will know that I have been a fan of Samuela Fainu. How he's been named this week is just a mystery wrapped in a riddle. How is he named this week? Simo, how did you describe the man on the weekend?
I said a lot of bad things on the weekend, mate.
You were spraying. You were spraying. And I tell you what, when he literally got tackled that first time and started adjusting his knee, I was just like, oh, great. So he definitely shouldn't have played. Takes the next hit up and fell to the ground and literally looked like he was about to fall over. What do they do? He cannot start this weekend, right? He's got a proper knee injury.
It's been a shocking year for him. And it's big for you and I to come out and say this too, Redford, because I think between yourself and I think every league I'm in, either you or I drafted him in just about every one because we're big fans of him, but it's been a brutal start to this year, like just shocking base stats. And then obviously this injury has been pretty ordinary too. But yeah, I don't see him. I mean, even if he plays this week, I mean, far out.
You can't start him. Don't start him, listeners.
He just isn't a massive work rate guy at the moment. It's like, it's not happening.
No, it's not happening. It might be a bit of at least a lost first half of the year. I hoped, honestly, Simo, I'd sincerely hoped that he took some time off, get the knees. His knees, it looks like he's genuinely hobbled. Give the young man some time to come good. We know he's very talented. He's a powerful runner. Just looks very unders. So, bit of a shame. Yeah, those throws. He was a good third tour F for us, Simo. I'm happy with a drop at this point. Fanua Pole finally showed he looked outstanding on the weekend. He finally got the minutes and Alex Twal lost his, is the big takeaway. Now, we know there were injuries galore. Your boy, Terrell May, playing just every minute like he's just life dependent on it.
Oh, New South Wales front row of Payne Haas and Terrell May. I mean, seriously.
New South Wales win. If they pick that, they win. I'm a big Queensland fan, but oh my God, that's terrifying.
Oh my gosh. Holy.
He's just power, the speed, what other stuff. So I'll let you have your little fest every week, Todzer, and you earned it this time, mate. He was brilliant.
Every week I will too. What a beast.
Twal gets a knock with the loss in minutes. It's a bit weird that all those injuries happen. He dropped and Polaire gets the time. I think Polaire, this is the time. If he's not owned with the dual eligibility of front row, I like him. I think he's worth a pickup. The talent we've all seen, if he gets those minutes going forward, Simo, could easily be FRF2 with a sneaky bit upside.
Yeah. What I like about the Tigers too, like Benji's not afraid to put like Calendar Silver on a bench or Latu Fainu on the bench. Sometimes even both, where they only run like a 2-forward bench or something like that. And that's just obviously Benji just putting faith in his guys. And if the minutes have switched over to Polo, like you say, he's a real sneaky get. And I think he's not with a faint of heart because we have seen him look good before, and sort of flunk a bit. But in saying that, I just don't know if we've seen Benji trust him with minutes like we had last week as much either. So
that's right.
Yeah, I'd be buying in a little bit as well here and just sort of see what you can get out of him.
Yeah, He's your, as always, listeners, whatever, just like some of these are a little less obvious. Front row is very hard, like finding the second FRF, but you're just having little stabs throughout the season just to see if you can find someone who's at least, floor of 45 with a chance of the odd 60 sort of thrown in. He could be one of those guys, so we'll see how we go. Spent a fair bit of time on the Tigers there, so I'll jump across. Brendan Piakura, my guy, sarcasm intended, gets a run thanks to Jordan Ricky. I thought that's a very harsh suspension for the tackle that took place there, and I am an owner, and he's been playing really well for SuperCoach.
You're on an island there. Boy, oh boy.
I'm struggling. So the one I'm struggling with, Simo, is Reed Marnie's hit to essentially a defenseless player on the ground, got 0 weeks and got a fine, which could have ended really bad. That was terrible. I don't know what that. I'm still struggling with the consistency between those two moments. That's a dog act to potentially injure a player versus one of those sort of shoulder moments. I don't know. He deserved time, don't get me wrong, but Brendan Piakura, he comes in. We can't frame an argument, lads. A simple nod of the head is all we need here. Nothing.
Please.
All right. Kobe Hetherington has thudded harder than Kennedy to a 22 last week and offered diddly squat. Shibasaki, are we believers now? Genuinely played outstanding. The only thing that I had messaged to me by Meso, I believe, on the site was, gee, I wonder if Mariner had scored those 2 tries just being in open space. My response, thanks, Meso, he came from a place of empathy because he was going through the same. If Dean Mariner was that player, it just would have been completed faster. So, yeah. So, brilliant.
Agreed.
Yeah.
G'day, Meso.
G'day, Meso. Shout out to the listeners who've just joined. We're nearly hitting towards the 20 strong as we continue to grow the potty. Love your work. That's really it for that, boys. Cobbo maybe a sneaky little buy low, hasn't lit it up yet. I think the tries are coming, and they're coming very soon, with Reece Walsh looking a little bit better on the weekend too. All right. Moving down to Seagulls versus the Storm. Lehigh is going to be owned. Congrats to those who handcuffed, as you bloody well should. We said it pre-season. You got to handcuff Turbo with Lehigh Hopewadi. Enjoy this. Enjoy the run of Lehigh. If you happen to have him in your CT dub and you're running another fullback, you are in a pretty good spot right now in your league. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's going all right. He's going all right to Todd Mount. Tough matchup to recommend anything that's not standard here. Takiaho's one did look really good. Did it translate to output?
You got a 50 odd. 49 and 47 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, FRF2, we recommend them as a low end, if anything. So, I think that kind of worked out if you picked them up.
Yep, happy enough with that. With Aloe down there dropping like flies, I think there's a chance, even at his advanced stage of his career, it could at least be a little better this week. At least till Aloe comes back.
People that didn't handcuff Lehigh, because it's not as easy as, well, it didn't turn out to be as easy as what we sort of made it sound like. There's lots of leagues where Lehigh Hopewadi was getting drafted well before the handcuff range, and not every owner could have done it. It's like for you, Redford, like if you own Tommy Turbo without Lehigh, what's your advice there? What are you doing?
You could potentially, and this is something, Simo, you'll know I've done, is if I have if I'm in a bad position in my league, which if you own Tommy, you're probably not absolutely crushing it right now. I've had the situation when my guy's been injured like that to start the year, my big draft pick. Tommy Turbo's name alone can get some deals done that you wouldn't think it could. I'd trade Tommy. Don't give him away for absolute cheap, but find someone that you think, if you think you can get by with a Jerome Buller plus, or I'm not saying go directly for that because then you're killing yourself, but find a way to upgrade your team. I'd be doing that because it's got lost season vibes written all over it, but people will still want to believe in Tommy Turbo. I'd almost let it cool off for a couple of weeks and let it get closer to the actual return date of the 4 weeks it's been mooted. then I would try and get by in the short term.
I got a lot. I could go on for a while about Manly on the weekend, but far out. Like Tommy never looked right. That whole like, I don't care what anyone says. Like from the very get go, I know that he's the right leg. I think he had really heavily strapped, and he ended up doing the left.
Yeah.
But Blind Freddie could see that he was not right even from the start, and it's just why play him at home against Parramatta in round 5 for Christ's sake, or round 4, just play Lehigh, play it safe with your gun. If he's unders, you've seen it last year. You play him when he's not right and he gets hurt. Now he's out for 4 weeks, and you should have just taken it easy with him. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do and who they're trying to prove, playing him against Parramatta at home. It's just blows my mind. It wasn't
needed either. Lehigh is easily good enough to win that matchup. I understand you're not supposed to take any team lightly. I fully understand that is, we as armchair fans, best draft experts, but besides that, we always say, you could win without needing him. I get that coaches don't have that ethos, but you're risking the rest of your season's success. They don't win anything without Turbo. We know this. And we've been here before, Simo. Been here many times.
That's
yet they do it again.
That's what frustrates you. It's like they haven't learnt from their mistakes. I watch Tommy probably as close as most people out there. I'm a big fan of his. And, I was messaging one of my mates, he's got a full-on black strapping tape on both sides of his right knee right from the start. And from the very first run, I think he had his first run in the first, after 13 minutes or something. And in week 1, he'd have had that many runs in the first, he'd have had 3 runs in the first 2 sets.
He takes hit-ups like a front rower when he's fit.
He's not right when he's not taking full tackle carries. And he didn't do it. Obviously, he didn't do it the whole game, really. But the fact that he didn't get involved in the first 10, I was like, he's not right here. And you could just see he wasn't. And then he gets injured. Go figure.
If he is put pressure on the coach to play, we hear that. These players, these guns, they love to say, I'm tough, I can do it, coach, put me in there. That's just part of the management and good leadership and coaching to say, so I appreciate your effort, mate. I'm going to sit you down. You can think bad of me, but this is for the team, team first ethos. So anyway, that's a brutal one for SuperCoach owners. I do think potentially trying to trade him on the name at some point. It's a tough old world out there. All right. The question in the chat here from Captain Rivalry, which has now disappeared for some reason. Bear with me. There it is. Brooks or Cole, bench, backup. Hello, Captain Rivalry.
For me, that's Cole.
Yep. Cole. Yep.
Yep.
Agreed. Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Over to the Storm. Willie Warbrick is back. Probably green lightable. He hasn't lit it up yet, so he's due some tries. I'm okay with it. 4 CT dub. Decent enough. Tyron Wishart is in there, but Jerome Hughes is on the extended. Just quickly for owners, it is pretty late in the round. Hopefully you did have Wishart as a handcuff. That would obviously make life very easy. If you don't have, put it this way, there's people out there who currently will need Wishart with the attrition in the halves. And obviously there's the Jerome Hughes owner who's got their bloody Dally M halfback. Do you hang on and wait here, Todzer?
Oh, geez. What an awful spot to be in, hey.
Awful.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to do. I would probably be pivoting away from Wishart and looking, I don't know, yeah, tough. What's the other option? Cogger, Sexton in the game after?
I'll try and trade for Wishart if I own Hughes.
Yeah.
Try and get something.
Just a third. Say Willafanu.
If you can do it, if you can do it. I don't know if the Wishart owner would be super keen, but
probably not too keen. Yeah, it's just, again, it's one of those that handcuffing is tough, listeners. It's not always easy to achieve, and it does chew up a valuable spot. But Geez, and to be honest, is Hughes someone you'd obviously think to handcuff, boys? Not really. Like that's not someone you'd assume is getting injured regularly playing in the halves. But
No.
gee, that's tough.
It's amazing how often this happens, though. Like,
Mm,
it's hard to handcuff everyone. I get that, but it's
it really
crazy
is.
how often they then come back and play late in the round. It's obviously it happens. Like, obviously there's Thursday and Friday nights that happens a lot and we don't talk about, but it just feels like it's
It
always
does.
like a bloody Sunday game.
Always late. It is always late. Quick one, Todd. Just a quick hitter. Green light, red light. Grant Anderson for CT dub.
Red light for me in the centres. No thanks.
I'm green. I think his base is decent enough and his chance of a try. 4 CT dub, not too bad. Don't think Manly's defense is all that great either. Bulldogs versus my Knights. It was a real shame we didn't get to watch Cogger run around last week. It's going to be just so exciting to see him back there. So awesome stuff. I'm just pumped to watch more of Fletcher Sharp, to be honest, just as a football fan. Just can't wait to see him. Leo Thompson is the big in, boys. Adds the much-needed starch up the middle that was lacking against the Titans. So he looked okay to start the year pre this injury. I don't want to get too hype about an FRF2 because I feel like we talk about these guys a lot. Waiverable, yes or no, Simon?
Really low end. Personally, I wouldn't. But I don't like wavering for low end front rowers personally. But I couldn't begrudge someone that was desperate and wanted to spend a low end claim, but he's nowhere near like a top half of the waiver round list. I just couldn't do it on front rower. But if you're 11th or 12th in a 12-man league, have a crack. If you're 9th or 10th in a 10-man league, why not? It saves you waking up in the morning.
All right, I will stick with Thomas Ken, Simon. Thomas Ken, in fact, based that a truckload. If he wasn't picked up the week before like you did, Simon, very shrewd pickup that I kudos to you. He is a very obvious waiver pickup, especially if you're the Dylan Lucas owner relying on him in the 2RF.
Love Thomas Cant, boys. Love Thomas Cant. Yeah, I'd go pretty high on him because I think he's got 3 weeks, and I think he based 70 odd the first week out.
In everything. Yep.
New South Wales Cup stats have been really good too as a lock. So, yeah, I think he's a must start. At least in these next 3 weeks, he's a must start. So if if you're really needy in the 2RF, or if you've got a flex spot needs filling, I'd go high on a waiver. Happy with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd love him. I'd spend one. I would.
Yeah, I get it. It's obviously a situational one, but it's a good one. You can definitely throw him into 2RF with confidence. Adam Elliott, he's okay. Given this current rotation, he'll probably do enough to get around that 55 sort of mark as he tends to do. To the Dogs, boy, did they play some good football. And Bronson Jerry, someone that we sort of wrote off preseason as maybe not having the upside, he did bloody look damn good. He was obviously motivated against his former team to show up and do some things. Todd Bowen, as a replacement for Brian To'o versus some of the other options we have seen, is it time to get on the Jerry hype train?
I don't mind the shout, mate. Last couple of weeks has really hyped up a little bit, but, it's Bronson Sherry. This is a decent enough matchup. I think I could be happy enough to play him as like a 4 CT dubs.
Yeah, so not full sipping the Kool-Aid from you.
No, I'm not full sipping Kool-Aid.
How's Sherry shushing the Sharks faithful? Like, you're the one that took heads.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but don't tell anybody. Shh, idiots.
Don't you? Yeah. You guys shush.
Yeah. Shush you. Like, I got justifiably banned for cheating the system. Yeah, shh.
Yeah. That's good.
God.
Well, it wasn't his story that he didn't know he was taking them, though. That was the Sharks giving it to him.
They never do, mate.
Blame Flan.
That's John Jones, mate. Never happened.
Never happened.
Didn't know what he was doing. No, didn't go to that particular gym that did that sort of stuff. But
there's a guy.
There's a guy. Yeah, look, he's earned enough to be owned, lads. I'll just say low end waiver just because there are people that are really needy. Oh, Jesus. Hello, big Kiwi Nick. A good family show we've got going here. Big Kiwi Nick, don't know who that guy is.
This
I
is a good
heard
comment. Yes.
Rangi Kupu is coming back to make money for his lawyer fees, worth a pickup in a 42-man league. No, real analysis, serious here on the show. Tuning in from what looks to be South Korea. Hello, Big Kiwi Nick.
Oh, White Ugly
What's
Corporate
up?
is a good shout. Holy, that's got me. Holy, White Ugly Corporate. I haven't
Wow.
heard that name in so long.
That is good. That is good gear. Says Dursto. Hello, mate.
Good gear was Manu Vasavai, mate.
No, hey, cut that out, poor fella. God, he was fun to own and watch. Look, I haven't got much else for this Canterbury side. Jacob Preston just, wow, look like you should play Origin. That I know they've got a million gun back rows ahead of him, but geez, he was so good. His hands, the quick hands on, setting off on the wing.
Just
Continued commentary. Just gonna.
I was going to say, we've got to answer Big Kiwi's question. Surely you wouldn't pick up Corpo over Henry Fa'afili, would you?
Might have issues travelling to Aussie now, though. I think you might be right. Dursto's mentioned Jamil. Oh, jeez.
This is going south quick.
This is going south. Was it Manu Ma'u? Wouldn't cross him. Respect to you, Manu. Good call, says the Big Kiwi Nick. Thanks, mate. Good from you. To the waiver aspect of this, so Daniel Saluka for Fita did play pretty well, scored a try. Anything to see there, or too many in the rotation? Quick one, Simo.
Too many
good mobile forwards. It's just really hard. Even Salmon and Kurt Mann, I was thinking that if either of them somehow were an 80-minute player, you'd absolutely have a startable option on your side, but they're just too much flipping and flopping, so no good.
Cannibalize each other.
Reed Marnie, droppable, Todd. He has been absolutely awful.
He's been crap, but the week before he was good. So I don't know. He can't
a hard start. No, it's getting desperate. You'd almost, I think to go back to the Eels, he's a good stash. I think you said it, Todzer. If you're the Reed Marnie owner, I'd be bringing in your Eels 9 just to see if it actually gives you a better base. Yep.
Boys,
right.
Just while we're on this game, before we move on, just quickly,
Yes,
I got a question from Facebook. It just says, what happens to Thomas Cant when KPP is back from suspension next week? Is he worth a high waiver? So Simo said he would waiver pretty high. You think he's going to keep his spot once KPP's back?
I do. I think Frizzell goes back to a middle role.
Yep.
And I'm going to back Adam O'Brien in, which is something I never say. But
sheepers.
Hang on. Say that again. You're backing who?
Yeah, you've got your one chance to go back and cut it up. I'm not giving you two.
Wow. So I backed Cody Walker tonight, and you've backed Adam O'Brien. We're in the bizarro world, my friend.
That's y'all are weird.
Yeah, I just think Frizzell's not playing edge for any more games than he has to.
Agreed.
So,
I agree.
That's
I think
that's from Jared. Thanks, Jared.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Jared. I think Tyson Frizzell's best position is lock easily too. So I think that's a good shout, Simo. Is there a shot he keeps KPP out? I don't think that is that crazy. I don't think it's insane. No, I really don't. And he's got form in this area, remember? With Dylan Lucas essentially ousting KPP last year through performance. Could happen. Get on board. Yeah. I like it, Simo. He's a great punt. Put it that way, listeners. It may not work out, but boy, the upside of that is an 80-minute edge back rower that's going to be outstanding.
If you're someone that's a bit frivolous with your waivers, then have a crack. If you like to sit for more of a sure thing, I get it. It's not a sure thing, but you got to have a crack at big upside if it's presenting itself, even though it might not be 100% locked in. So, I'd be having a crack, but you do what your risk tolerance sort of justifies that you do.
All right, so I'm after some non-Wairangi Kupu related X questions, Simo, if you've got them, mate. Fire away.
Yep, we've got one here from Guest 543.
G'day, Guest 543.
Why did Richard Villasanti hit Fittler high in the grand final?
We've officially gone to this territory.
Nah,
Phyllis.
April Fool's boys, come on.
That's good. Hey, it's after 12. Punch yourself in the arm, sir. That's poor.
12. Full of it.
God, learn the rules, mate. Phyllis, Santi, that's good. That's good from you.
From Adam. G'day, Adam. Mamazula's worth grabbing and dropping JMK.
No, not for JMK.
I don't think. Yeah, gee, surely you can find a spot on the bench for JMK. He has been struggling, no doubt. We said he looks a bit unders. Don't flat drop him. Mamazula's, geez, arguably could be started at this point. That's pretty close to me.
Yeah, I don't begrudge anyone that thinks that Mamazula should be started over JMK. Like, he proofs in the pudding. Like, he should have been the last few weeks.
Yeah,
I wouldn't drop JMK for Mamazoulis, though. I know it kind of goes against that, but drop someone else. If that was my only option, I'd just stick with JMK, back him in.
I would too. JMK obviously is one of those easily gettable buy-lows as well, just for those who are believers. You could frame an argument. I just don't want to absolutely, plant the flag on the hill.
Yeah. Hookers is just so hard, isn't it? Like,
it's brutal.
It's one thing, like, JMK is gettable, but also the person who owns JMK is going to want a serviceable-ish hooker in return. It's like, which JMK hasn't been, but...
Who is a serviceable hooker this year? There's almost none of them. It's been brutal. Max Plath. Connor Watson, well, he hurt owners with
Max Plath of not hooker eligible.
Tommy Starling's been pretty good.
Tommy Starling, yeah.
Corey Pakes.
Jeez. And that's the thing, like, look at someone like Verrills, who actually have been startable. Good luck with that, with chopped up minutes.
He keeps been good, Redford.
Wade Egan is actually playing good real-life football. It's just nervous. The in-game injury risk remains. Wade Egan is very startable at the moment. Write it out. Obviously on waivers this week. Did you say Max Plath is not hooker eligible?
No, he is.
Yeah, I was going to say. I thought he's been pretty good, 65 average. So, Tommy Starling. Now that is not going as well as it had. He is getting subbed out sooner in games. It's been a bit tough to watch. Question coming in here. Sorry, Simo, any more from X, mate, or is that us?
Yeah, there is one more that we've sort of touched on already.
Yep.
This is from the Bin Chickening, one of our favourites.
Oh, yeah.
G'day, Bin Chicken. Ing.
G'day, gents. Is Latrell a sneaky buy low? Now he's named at centre.
Based on Simon's analysis that I think is pretty close, he is. Just don't overspend as the buy low, given he doesn't play the round 26 grand final. Just keep
Paps
that in.
Or Latrell rest of season?
I hate
the
injury
risk.
It's
a buy low. That's sort of, you get paying a bit. So
I'd just try and ride out Paps and just hope you're fluking a good injury-free season. I hate it though. I hate it.
Totally against that.
If it weren't round 26, I think I'd just shade it to Latrell, but if I own Paps, I don't think I'd make that trade.
Todd, you seem.
Oh, mate, I'm all about Latrell Mitchell. I was about him preseason. I'm still about him now. I think he shits all over little Pappy.
Like when we say buy low, we're talking big guns here. So
yeah,
that's probably where you're at. Like you're not getting a lot of fullbacks below Pappy for Latrell.
No,
so.
you're not.
I think you've missed your buy low on Trell because he's now back and everyone sort of thinks he's going to go back to fullback anyway. So I think they missed the mad buy low.
I don't know if it's everyone, Todd. I think that's the key. It depends on the league. Like there might be some out there that see the centre and they hear, because there's going to be some press. They're going to hear all this. Is he going to do as much at centre? NRL physio we've heard in the past. Shout out to our man. He has said, is there really even much of a difference between the stress on the body and the injury risk when you're being centre and fullback? His study analysis, I believe, indicated it wasn't. Like it's almost exactly the same. So it's an interesting scenario. There could be an angle. Geez, that's close. Puppy versus Latrell. That's a really good framing there, Simo. Thank you to our
rest of season. Where have you got Latrell at fullback then, Redford?
I had him a fair way down preseason anyway. I had him below Drinkwater, below Walsh. I was the one that had him a bit lower. I don't think it's changed too much. I think Little Puppy's probably the one. Little Puppy and Gutho, just given now Gutho. Okay, Gutho versus Latrell. Gutho. Just role specific. I hate saying it out loud.
Brother. You and I are on different levels, though.
I think the base better. Risk Latrell not going back there or re-injury. Gutho just literally being the halfback, the 5'8", then the fullback. I probably wouldn't go out there and actively do it, but I actually think Gutho, it's close. Him and Puppy are really, really close.
Not about it.
I got
I'm
no
pretty
words,
down.
buddy. I got no words.
I lost my faith in Latrell. I was like his biggest fan going into last year. I've pretty much written that off. I'm not a Latrell SuperCoach person. I hope he goes great. Hope I'm wrong. Average 90 on the run home. Prove me wrong.
Oh, feast for the eyes it would be.
Strange or Riley Smith, says Captain Rivalry. I presume that's just waiver specific
Strange.
to a team. Not Strange. He's just not involved. He doesn't run the ball enough. It's not a thing. Stash Riley Smith, see how you go. Thank you, mate. Dursto, I'll be in your DM soon with Red's blessing Simo.
Mate, you give me a hard enough week as it is, Dursto. So you can keep that shit.
No trade talks based upon beating me last week, you dog. Get it up, you dog.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
With your scummy
Good stuff,
33-point victory. Get out of
No,
here.
it's all good.
Try.
No, Victor
try,
comes back on
Dursto.
after HI gives a bloody stupid try assist. No, that's good.
He's so bitter. He's so bitter.
Victor
And
Radley
just
comes back on the
absolutely-
field all the time, doesn't he? Yeah.
Actually, just giving it to him. Good stuff. Anything left from the Book of Face we haven't already covered, Tozza?
No, mate, we're all done over on the Book of Face, mate.
All right. Thank you very much this evening, lads. Geez, we got absolutely spurred on by some great contributions in the chat. quality efforts. Simo, thank you very much for this evening, mate.
Thanks, mate. Going to go and look up Rangi Korpu highlights.
Oof. It wouldn't be many.
Circa 2002.
I want to see Fittler get Kodanged. You brought that up. That's good. That's real good from you. That's
Well,
very well
funny,
done.
you were mentioning the Reed Marnie hit, and I'm pretty sure Mick Anderson on the call even said, it's got Brad Fittler and Richard Villasanti vibes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Reedy
really
goes
chat
good.
from Mick. One of the few
thank
good
you,
things he
Simo.
said on commentary.
The Sexy Mountion. Thank you very much, sir. Good contribution.
Cheers, mate. Always a pleasure. Never a chore, baby.
Wow, I'll take that. That means a lot coming from you. Listeners, thank you for tuning in. We've had some great buy-in in the chat. Love to hear more from you on the Facebook page. Tell your friends about us. We're looking to grow the brand. I believe some T-shirts are being put together at some point. No, not really, not yet. One day we'll get there. But as always, listeners, get that BDE India. Oh, yeah.